This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
I shudder thinking how the world can be so cruel. Lend my voice to those who can't. It's time we try, it's time we care, it's time we stand. It starts with a voice.
Welcome to the Special Chronicles Podcast. My name is Daniel Smrokowski. I'm the founder and host of Special Chronicles, an athlete leader of Special Olympics Illinois, and a former Southern Striver Global Messenger. Our website, specialchronicles.com. Follow Special Chronicles on socials, subscribe to our newsletter, find the show notes for this podcast, and specialchronicles.com. This week on the Special Chronicles Podcast Series, a recap of Turin 2025. Our guests are Natalie and Trey, Special Olympics USA athletes who has competed in DanceSport, one of the new sports at the Special Olympics World Games, Turin 2025. We put your virtual hands together as we welcome Natalie and Trey on Special Chronicles. Welcome, Natalie and Trey.
Hello.
Oh, well, thank you for having us, Daniel.
Yeah,
nice to see you again.
I'm glad that you guys are able to come on. And Natalie, you this is not your first time on this podcast. You were a guest leading up to the 2019 World Games in Abu Dhabi, and then we got a chance to meet up in person at those games, right?
Yes, we did, and we met up again at the Special Olympics USA Games in Orlando, Florida, as well.
That's right. Yeah. Now it's coming back. So awesome.
Yeah.
We'll begin with you, Natalie, and then we'll go to you, Trey. Natalie, you've been a Special Olympics athlete since 2012.
Yeah.
What drew you to the movement, and how has it shaped your life and your personal growth?
So it was actually 1 year after I had brain surgery to stop my seizures, and I was looking for healthy activities that I could continue to do after I had surgery. And so I found, with help with my mom and dad, I found a cycling event that Special Olympics Utah was having at the Utah Ability Center up in Park City, and that's where I won my first silver and gold medal in cycling. And from then on, I continued with Special Olympics and like Special Olympics Utah events. But I think for me, it's really important getting to do community events and healthy activities for me, and just being out there and doing inclusive activities. And
Awesome.
showing, leadership opportunities as well.
Awesome. And long-time listeners will remember the last time that you were on, but you're also a Special Olympics U.S. Youth Ambassador advocating for inclusion. What does inclusion mean to you, and why is it so important with the work with Special Olympics?
So inclusion means to me is that those with intellectual and physical disabilities get to do what they love.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you're not new to podcasts. You also co-host a podcast of your own, the Dad and Nat Unified Nation which explores the Generation Unified movement. Can you tell us and to tell our listeners a little bit about the podcast that you co-host with your dad and the message that you hope to share with your audience?
Yes. So we so dad and Nat, I host with my dad. It's like a exploration of talking with people around the U.S. and world about what inclusion means to them and what their disability story is. And we are thankful that we got to talk to like musicians, authors, actors, and producers, like just to name people that we got to talk to, and they're getting to tell their story about what impacted them with disability and what it meant to them with being part of the disability community.
Awesome. And in 2018, you attended the Special Olympics USA Games as a youth leader. Can you tell us about that experience and how it helped prepare you for your role as a global ambassador?
Yeah, so in 2018, I got to go to the 2018 USA Games, well, first, if it wasn't for the Seattle 2018 USA Games, I would have never met my unified partner and one of my best friends, Katie Hutch, who you also talked to for one of your podcasts with me before. And what the USA Games was like for both of us was that, and for me was that it was my first time getting involved with youth leadership, and getting the chance to explore what leadership opportunities there were, and for others like me, and what opportunities I could bring back here to Utah, and also getting the chance to be part of Healthy Athletes that we got a chance to help out with as well, and getting the chance to interview our soccer team that was representing Utah, and just getting to be interviewed by Ray Roberts as well. So there were a lot of fun activities that we got to be part of, and I'm thankful for everything that that the USA Games in Seattle has brought in me and Katie, and that whole experience.
Awesome. And your story was featured in the Humans of New York during the Special Olympics World Games in Abu Dhabi. How did it feel to have your journey shared on such a global platform?
Well, so there's a funny story. So today, when we're recording this on March 30th, today's the 6-year anniversary of when we did our interview in Abu Dhabi. So, first, that experience of being interviewed by Brendan was a experience that I'll never forget, because first, I never thought that my story would have been told, and getting to share my friendship with Katie, and telling the story of our friendship, and my story of my disability of IDD, epilepsy, cerebral palsy, and back at that time, I was struggling at home. I mean, my whole family was, because of my brother's mental illness, and it was scary too, because you don't know what those people are going to say about my story with all of those things, but seeing the feedback about my story and our friendship and my disabilities is actually was really good and really positive, and I'm grateful that I got to share my story and this and everything that has happened, because maybe sharing what I've gone through will help somebody else.
Awesome. And you're currently working on co-authoring a book called Stand, an Inclusion Story. What inspired you to write a book, and what do you hope readers will take away from it?
Yes, so we have family friends that live in upstate New York, and they have a song called Stand that is actually being used across the U.S. In some ed classrooms, actually. And I wanted to make this book that will be dedicated to them and their song, because that song really inspired me to make this book happen. And I really want people to learn from this book is that we're working together, and no matter your disability,
Awesome.
like working, being
Awesome.
together, yeah.
So as we switch gears to now the World Winter Games in 2025 in Turin, how did you prepare? So dance sport is a new sport at the World Winter Games, and I believe these are the first World Games to have dance sport. And so how can you tell us about what your preparation was like?
Yeah, so our preparation for preparing for Turin was like, so me and Trey danced for our dance. Let me start over. Sorry. Me and Trey practiced our dance twice a week at UDA over here in South Jordan, Utah, and we did it a couple times a day, weeks.
Awesome. And how has your involvement in sports like dance sport influenced your perspective on teamwork and unity?
Yeah, so well, first I'm because I've been involved in so many sports, I'm also really grateful to have been involved in so many unified teams and so many unified sports that I had the chance to be part of teams and learn from and be part of teams that have those that do and don't have disabilities, and knowing that knowing and seeing the team work and the friendships that grow with every single person that has a disability and that don't have the disability. It's like we're making memories, being on a team and being there with each other, and I'm thankful to be part of that.
Awesome. And can you share with us a favorite memory from competing at the World Winter Games, or what was some of your highlights of competing on the global stage of those? I believe over 1,000 athletes and from many countries across the globe. Share with us a few favorite memories.
Well, yeah, that is a hard one because I have so many memories, but but yeah, I feel like Turin is definitely a real highlight for me because it was the first ever time that I ever competed at a USA or World Games, and getting the chance to represent not only Utah and the U.S. in dance sport was a huge accomplishment for me, and getting to do it with Trey, who I have known ever since I was a kid, and us doing a duet together was a real highlight for me because doing it with a friend is just really special to me, and I love that and love that opportunity.
Awesome. And before we switch over to Trey, what advice would you give to young athletes who are looking to get involved in Special Olympics, or maybe there's an athlete that saw you both compete in dance sport and didn't think that was a sport in Special Olympics? So, what advice would you give to them looking to get involved in Special Olympics?
I would say you have a bright future ahead. You can do anything when you put your mind to it, and that you will always have a seat at the table with me, with Trey, with your friends, with anybody that you want to be with, and just know that you will always have the support to do what you want to do and to always do what you love.
Awesome. Great advice. We'll come back to you in the last segment, Natalie, again, as we get to use the final thoughts in the last segment. But we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we will hear from Trey and hear your story and your experience at the World Winter Games competing in dance sport, which, again, for all of you listening in, dance sport was a new sport at the World Winter Games. And so excited to hear a little bit of your story, Trey, after this short break, to let all of you listening in know how you can support this podcast. Because if it wasn't for, it's free to listen, but it does cost money to keep the lights on, keep this microphone plugged in, and all of that. So support for Special Chronicles comes from listeners like you. Please join our supporters with a monthly or one-time donation so we can operate our studio and continue our mission, giving respect and voice to people with disabilities. Visit specialchronicles.com/give or specialchronicles.com/give. And if you want to access bonus content and see us getting set up to record in the pre-show, you can you can join now at specialchronicles.com/plus. I believe $10 a month, or any donation. You can join now at specialchronicles.com/plus to access that bonus content. And Trey, now switching over to you. You've been a part of Special Olympics for a while and have competed in multiple sports. What initially inspired you to join, and how has Special Olympics impacted your life?
Well, initially, I was mostly staying at home on the computer, like all day long, and this kind of gets boring for a while. So initially I joined Special Olympics because I just want to get out and get moving again. So
awesome. And
I never thought like that decision leads me to getting into the World Games.
Awesome, awesome. And speaking of getting moving, dance sport is definitely a sport where there's a lot of movement, and dance sport is a new area for you and for Natalie at the Special Olympics World Winter Games. Can you tell us just like what how Natalie shared with us, but Troy, can you share with us what your preparation process was like and how did you prepare?
Uh, so we just prepared the World Games, but well, like Natalie says, Saturday mornings and Thursday afternoons, and well, what you don't know that I also practice like home, like three three days a week at home.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
that's and plus all the walking well, get my stamina going, and yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And you mentioned the Special Olympics has helped you to stay active and make new friends. Can you share with us some of the friendships and connections that's made a difference in your life? I'm sure kind of connecting with Natalie and with and with your teammates. How
Uh,
um,
I mean, yeah. So like while we were into it, and I used to. I mean, we usually talk to Natalie, and there's also like two other people that were in tour, which is Andy and Noah,
Hmm.
and I get to find out what they're like and just basic social interactions while we were in turn. Also, the same things I do while I'm while I'm in other sports.
awesome, awesome, and uh, and speaking of the World Winter Games, can you share with us maybe a few of your favorite memories from competing? I'm sure it might be difficult to pick, but what were some of your favorite memories from competing in dance sport?
Well, let's just say there's a few. There is like the most memorable is when we get to go outside to the town of Bogdanekia and just see like the towns and somewhat random imagery on the
Yeah.
Awesome,
yeah. And also get
awesome.
to try out pizza.
Oh, the pizza was
Pizza.
good.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that pizza was good in Italy. Uh, outside of your involvement in Special Olympics, you hold a job and enjoy video games and spending time with family. How do you balance your everyday life with your your training and competition, especially for the World Winter Games, which was such a big competition to I'm sure that like you talked about, you had a lot of training, but how did you balance your job and your everyday life with your training?
Well, job was I worked like seasonal part-time jobs, so that's not a big and that can change around. So that's not a big deal. and my family is always there with me. So yeah.
Awesome. And what did it mean for you to represent Special Olympics USA on the world stage at the World Games? What did it mean for you? Because not that many athletes get to compete at the World Games. So what did it mean for you?
Honestly, it means a lot. It was like a big honor for me to like not just represent like the state I'm in, which is Utah, but is to represent like a whole United States of America. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And in addition to your athletic pursuits, you mentioned that you love traveling and Disney. What else? What are some of your favorite travel experiences, and how does Disney fit into your life?
Well, like a couple of years ago, I went to like on a vacation to Paris. So I just went to so like in one of the days I went to Disneyland Paris and
Awesome.
and one of the days I went to like Disney World Florida and one of the and also a couple of times I've been to D23, which is the big Disney convention. But I love Disney ever since I was really young. So
Yeah.
Awesome. And just like how Natalie gave advice, what advice would you give to other athletes that are looking to get involved in Special Olympics, or even to compete at the World Games and take their involvement to the next level, like you and Natalie did? What advice would you give to other Special Olympics athletes?
um, I I would give like attend to practice every day. Like even if you don't want to, it's like it's not like just practice like kicking, but also like practice your like social skills and try to make new friends.
Awesome. And what are you most proud of your Special Olympics journey at the World Winter Games in Turin? If you want to kind of sum up your whole experience at the World Winter Games, what are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of like getting to like a first division, which is the highest division of that's what that's the part I'm most proud of.
Awesome. We're going to go ahead and take one final break. When we come back, we will get into some final thoughts for both Natalie and Trey as we wrap up the final segment after this final break on SpecialChronicles.com. Support for Special Chronicles comes from the ComEd Energy Force Ambassador Program, the country's first energy and solar efficiency education program designed for, taught by people with disabilities. Learn more at SpecialChronicles.com/ComEd. And support for Special Chronicles comes from United Airlines Bridge Disability Business Resource Group, connecting people of all abilities, including high-end Special Olympics athletes like myself as employees. You can learn more on United's commitment to disability inclusion for employment and travel at SpecialChronicles.com/United. That's SpecialChronicles.com/United. And now, as we get to some final thoughts for both of you. For athletes who advocate for inclusion, what does the Generation Unified movement mean to both of you, and why is it crucial for the future of Special Olympics? Why is the Generation Unified movement? We'll go to you first, Natalie, and then Trey.
I think it's important to me that we have a voice for those who have intellectual and physical disabilities, and we're speaking up for for like inclusion, and we have a voice, and we're letting the world know that we are here, and we we're not going anywhere, and we are going to stay here.
Awesome. And Trey, what does the Generation Unified movement mean to you?
Well, to be honest, this is literally the first time I ever heard of it. So, but I believe,
No.
like Natalie said,
All right. Awesome. Awesome. Well, you both have such a unique and empowering experiences with Special Olympics. How are these experiences, including competing in DanceSport at the World Winter Games, how has it shaped your personal missions to advocate for inclusion and respect?
Well, I think nothing has changed for me in spreading the word about inclusion and intellectual and physical disabilities, and spreading the word about like unified sports. But this is the beginning of me spreading the word about how good like dance sport can be, and how good dance sport can become, because this is only the beginning of how good like dance sport can be for like world games, or in the future. And we are the first in the States to get dance sport, and we are the first in the USA to bring dance sports to the World Games. So and to represent USA at the World Games in dance sport. So I think this is the first.
Awesome.
To bring awareness about it.
Awesome. And Trey, do you have any thoughts on how these experiences has helped you to advocate for inclusion?
I think like how my thoughts on like dance sport is that it's like changed my life, honestly, because I feel like a celebrity around here.
Awesome, great.
Well, Trey has some real good fancy feet, so he's amazing at it. Just ask him, and he will do it for you.
Awesome.
I don't know if you can see it.
Well, when you see Daniel in person.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, what has been the most impactful lesson that you've both learned from your time with Special Olympics, including like at the World Winter Games? What's been the most impactful lesson that you bring in home? That you have brought home?
Well, if you mess up on stage, the audience won't know. You just have fun when you're performing, because the important thing is to always have fun during performances, and no performance is like perfect. And if you are doing a duet or you're doing a solo, yeah, you just have fun, and you are doing a great job, hands down. No matter what you do.
Awesome. And Trey, what impactful lesson have you learned from your experience at the World Winter Games?
The lesson I learned is like keep doing your best, and you get good results. That's the lesson I learned from doing World Games.
Awesome. And how do you both believe Special Olympics is continuing to foster global inclusion and break down barriers in years to come? If not, we can move.
Well, yeah.
Let's move on to looking back at the World Winter Games. How can you both summarize your your experience of the opening ceremony, the closing ceremony, all the events? Summarize your whole experience at the World Winter Games.
It was a really cool opportunity that they got to include DanceSport, and they got to include like us in like opening ceremonies and like in the World Games in general, because like dance sport, like you would not think dance sport as a winter sport, you would think, but it's inside sport, and it's a really cool sport to see during the games, and it's just a talent that you see every opportunity that you can to see the athletes who have prepared, and for this opportunity. It's really incredible. We got to see some amazing dances. We got to be involved in the pin trading, which Trey and I loved being a part of. Trey crushed the pin trading. We got to explore Bardonecchia. We got to try some different foods and stuff in Bardonecchia and in Turin. So it was really incredible getting to be part of the World Games, and I think the World Games, and I think dance sport will be part of Winter Games in the future. They're going in the right direction for including dance sport, because I think they have a really good thing going on, and I think people will absolutely love dance sports.
Awesome. And Trey, how can you summarize your experience?
Well, my experience in Turin is like everybody in the world is nice and supported of each other and to the world, and so that was like a nice experience.
Yeah, everyone was so nice when we were there. It was really cool.
So yeah, it's like just wish the world would be like this.
Yeah. More inclusion, more niceness,
Yeah.
more love.
Awesome. Do you the time has just flown by. We've got one before we get to the final question. Do you both have any final thoughts in the overall time here today on the Special Chronicles podcast?
Well, I think I want to say thank you for inviting Trey and I to come on to Special Chronicles. We absolutely love getting to hang out with you, Daniel. You're so awesome and so kind for letting us speak to you about our experience in Turin, Italy. And we look forward to seeing what you do with the rest of your series on the 2025 games, and we look forward to seeing you again, hopefully soon.
Yep. And Trey, do you have any final thoughts?
It was like fun getting to know to like talk about this.
Awesome.
Talk about like my time in Turin, Italy, and also my time in Bosnia.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you both for kind words, and hopefully we'll get a chance to meet up in person in the future. And so we got one final question, and to introduce the final question, we've got a bumper. So let's go ahead and roll that bumper.
We're not just athletes.
We are the ambassadors of an uprising.
Peaceful protesters.
In a rebellion against anyone
who has a fear of difference.
Difference.
Our demands are
Equality.
Dignity.
And the recognition of our
shared humanity. We will not stop
or accept anything less.
Today, our world is
more divided than ever.
And coming together has never been more urgent.
The revolution
is inclusion.
Find out more at jointherevolution.org.
As you both know, the inclusion revolution is a big part of this movement. And ever since I attended the 2019 World Games in Abu Dhabi, been asking all our guests one final question that we don't just want listeners to listen to us for the past 42, almost 45 minutes of this episode, but we want our listeners to learn from both of your stories and to take inclusion and bring it back into their lives, bring inclusion back into their communities and workplaces and schools. And so this final question will help our listeners to take action into their own lives. So we'll start with you, Natalie, and then we'll go to you, Trey. What does inclusion mean to you?
Yes. So what inclusion means to me is that everyone gets to do what they love, and that everyone, in the words of Tim Shriver, they all deserve to have a seat at the table. And I always go back to that because that really means something to me, and it's really true because just from just seeing what the world has become these past few months, I think everyone does deserve a seat at the table.
Awesome. And Trey, what does inclusion mean to you?
Well, inclusion means like everybody could do like anything if they given the opportunity to do it. It just means that everybody can do great things.
Awesome. Both of you, perfect answers, and Tim's words are always inspiring and empowering, and I'm sure our listeners will really learn a lot on how to bring inclusion back into their lives. A few final plugs for all of you listening. You can shop our merchandise store Our disabled voices matter merch. We have T-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs. 60% of the profits will go back to Special Chronicles. SpecialChronicles.com/shop if you want to shop our merch for this podcast. And tap that follow button. New episodes will come every month. You guys can go back and hear from Lou, the chief of sport and competition at Special Olympics International, as well as Grace Payne, Southern Tribal Global Messenger. We'll be also speaking with Tyler, who competed in alpine skiing, Mary, who competed in snowshoeing, a snowshoeing coach. And also coming up will be after this episode, you'll hear from Nick, who competed in alpine skiing. You'll also hear from a few people who attended the Global Youth Leadership Summit, as well as hear about the Global Coalition for Inclusion that took place. Hear from one of the sponsors, United, as well as someone who's on the board of directors who volunteered. So all those episodes are coming up every Monday. A new episode drops right on this podcast. So tap that follow button and subscribe, like, comment, all that. I don't know if I missed anything, but thank you again, Natalie and Trey, for coming on the Special Chronicles podcast. It was a lot of fun talking to you both.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah. Thank you again, Daniel.
And until next week, everyone, remember, choose to include. We'll see you next week. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Special Chronicles Podcast. Our podcast was produced by Daniel Smrokowski on the Special Chronicles Network. Follow Special Chronicles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Subscribe, rate, and review Special Chronicles on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Our website, specialchronicles.com, where you can stream our archives of over 500 episodes for free. Also, there's a list of our favorites, original series, award-winning columns, and blogs. And sign up for our newsletter to receive exclusive bonus content delivered to your inbox. Again, specialchronicles.com. Special Chronicles is hosted by Podbean Podcast Hosting. Our live streams are powered by StreamYard. Thanks, as always, to our business manager, Adam Smrokowski, who always encourages us to never give up. I'm Daniel Smrokowski, back next week with more stories.
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.